What do we have for Aries, please, Spirit? Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading, Aries. Aries, I've been picking up a lot of evil eye inside your energy. And the Seven of Swords here, I would say, is a really good card, a really good energy to represent the feeling that I have been getting meditating on your energy the past few days. There's something that you're doing. It's a path that you're on. Maybe you've achieved some sort of level of success in your life, just a personal triumph. And the evil eye, I feel, is coming from multiple different groups in your life. It's going to be different for each one of you. But the one common factor with all of these different groups and energies that I was picking up on is that they are evil eyeing your happiness without them. There are people here that didn't think you were going to be able to accomplish what you have without them in your life, influencing you in some capacity. But the whole reason why you are now achieving this success is because you started to realize that you were being minimized, or you were being given way less than you deserved in these situations with these people. Now, I feel that there's a lot of energies around you that are also trying to trigger you right now. It's like they need a reaction out of you for something to work. And if you want to look at this from a metaphysical standpoint, when it comes to energy manipulation, typically reacting to the energy manipulation by, say, entering into a space of fear or reacting in a way that is not really doing anything positive for you, allows this energy to stick to you. It's like saying that being in an energy of fear allows more fear to stick to you. Now, this is actually Manifestation 101, okay? So whatever we put out into the universe is what the universe is going to amplify more of in our life, because the universe wants to give us exactly what it is we want. So the universe figures if we are in a particular energy, then that's what we want more of. Now, this aligns with free will, okay? The universe doesn't look at you and say, okay, Aries is in an energy of fear, so let's try and get them out of that fear. The universe wants to basically get you to the point where you're able to get yourself out of that fear, because that's free will. Now, if free will wasn't there, there would literally be no reason for us to even exist, because it's our free will that allows the universe to evolve to begin with. It's like we are all little brain cells inside the universal mind, living out our own little paths, and we are transmitting wisdom, transmitting experience back to the universal mind. You are being advised right now by spirit to remain very strong, to remain very steadfast, to remain unshaken in the face of any evil eye or energetic manipulation that you may be feeling coming your way. Now, energetic manipulation is very easy to pick up on, because it's one of those kinds of things where you could be perfectly happy, and then all of a sudden there's a switch and you just feel this overwhelming sense of anxiety, or you feel anxious, and it's just not something that tracks with where you are in that very moment. So if you can sit there and say, why do I feel this way? There's no reason for me to feel this way right now. My life is pretty good. There's nothing that I'm really needing to be anxious about. That right there is energy manipulation. Now, when you feel that energy coming your way, it's very important that you just take a moment out to really focus on what it is you know to be true in your life, and you refuse any of that energy manipulation. What I'm feeling that's been coming towards you, Aries, is very strong. This is no joke. All right. But there is a silver lining to this. And this is tried and true. Okay. When you're able to pinpoint these sorts of energetic attacks and you're able to pull yourself out of it and get to the other side, you're always able to extract a blessing or a very valuable lesson having gone through that. So a lot of the times what you'll find is when you're experiencing these sorts of situations in your life, it's really a signal that you are about to level up even further. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Unbelievable. Six of Swords, Aquarius energy again. Okay, so 7 to the 6 of Swords here. The 6 of Swords is your rite of passage, and it's right there at the sacral. So the sacral is the fire in your belly. That's your passion. That's your creativity. This is very clear. You're moving down this path, right? This is really representing at the sacral position, a passionate new beginning that you're heading towards, and you're leaving something behind, something that didn't serve your highest good and potential. This Seven of Swords, because you start to see it now for what it really is, right? This energy was draining you, minimizing you, so this would never be possible. And right on the bottom of the deck, High Priestess. So Spirit is guiding you right now, okay? Spirit is trying to advise you, I feel, through this reading on how to navigate this situation. I'm also hearing the owl that is on my property right now, which on other depictions of the High Priestess and some of my other decks, there's actually an owl that is dropping knowledge onto the High Priestess or just in support of the High Priestess here. So there's been messages coming through in some of the readings lately about paying attention to your surroundings, Mother Nature-wise, right? So the animals, even insects, or just weather patterns, things like this. Okay, I just heard numerology, and I'm seeing in my mind's eye 222, 333, and 707, okay? Now, what I have found is that when you start seeing these number patterns, right, this sort of numerology, it's really Spirit's way of saying, hey, we see you, we got you, okay, keep going. You're getting warmer, okay? And that's exactly what I'm getting here for all of you. You know, Aries, what you really have to start understanding, and this one's difficult, okay, because I always find myself having a hard time accepting this as well. But when this energy manipulation, or you feel like you're being attacked by something or someone, it's always, again, going to be a sign that there's something great for you on the other side. It's like this energy wants to drag you into the trenches, and it's your strength to actually pull yourself up and launch yourself off of whatever rock bottom they're trying to drag you to is what is actually going to trigger you entering into this new level of the game. It's all a part of your ascension. See, ascension and awakening, which really work hand in hand, because you go through the awakening process, and the awakening process leads to the ascension, right? But this is never a smooth path. There's no such thing as a smooth awakening. Awakening is painful. Ascension is really uncomfortable. It's like fighting an invisible war. It's something that is taking place in spirit, but you feel it from within. You feel it at your core. You feel it in your gut. That's how you know that you're going through an ascension process, is when you really feel that kind of uncomfortable feeling, something tugging at you. And that tugging feeling, I believe, are the cords that are trying to keep you tethered to the old timeline. It's like you're ascending, right? You're raising up, and these cords are trying to drag you back down, keep you in the lower timeline. And that's exactly what's happening here. All this evil eye, all this projection, all this energy manipulation has one goal, and one goal only: to stop you from ascending, to stop you from realizing who you really are. This is what this all comes down to. I mean, that's what the awakening process is. When we're stripping away all of these ideas about ourselves and how we live our everyday waking life to truly discover who we really are. You need to remember, you are a soul. You are a light being having a human experience. And make no mistake, you are down here on a mission. And these people may not even know why they do what they do, why they come for you the way that they do, because there's something else that controls them. And what controls them is an opposing force that feels threatened of you breaking the chains of everything you are not and discovering everything that you are. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Page of Swords. Okay, so there they are. Okay, right there at the solar plexus. So there's that evil eye. There's that chatter. There's that energy manipulation. And it's right there at the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is you taking control over your life. This is your confidence. This is everything that, as you being an Aries, is representative of your superpower. And the solar plexus in my readings here is actually the home position for Aries and Scorpio. And this is what they are trying to take from you. You know, it's interesting, Aries, because you are the first sign of the zodiac, right? The I am. You kick down the door for everybody else. It's all about your identity. I am Aries. Now, The Page of Swords here at the solar plexus position is them using a kind of energy manipulation that is trying to trigger your shadow side, right? So everything that is opposite of your actual superpower. So they don't want you to step onto the front line and say, I am Aries, right? They want you to cower in the back and say, I don't know who I am, right? They don't want you to discover your greatness. And the thing is, Aries, the way I'm doing this reading, it's from more of a spiritual perspective, and then we are weaving these sort of real-world narratives into the energy so you understand how to place this. But a lot of what I'm picking up here is going mostly unseen. Again, evil eye, right? There's some sort of wicked intent that I'm picking up here, and it's not something that you can really visualize for the most part. But one thing is for certain, Aries, that your intuition is right on target. You may not be able to see firsthand what people are doing, but you know what they're doing. And if you are of sound mind, body, and spirit, there is no reason why you cannot trust your intuition, okay? I'm also hearing something here about you now seeing someone in a way that you didn't before. This could have been somebody that you were in a relationship with, but ever since you've broken up with this person, something has been revealed about them. It's something very ugly about this person. There's this side to them that you didn't see when you were in a relationship with them, because I feel that they were putting on an act. So I don't know, maybe you stumble across their social media or you see them out somewhere and you just see them in a different light. It's almost like, whoa, I never even knew that side of you before. It makes you feel like they were either putting on an act when they were with you, like they were existing inside a framework of what they thought you liked, or they're putting on an act now. There's just something very strange about an individual or individuals in your energy in regards to their identity, right? The way they show up in the world, which is so interesting because I just mentioned that these people are trying to trigger your shadow, right? So your superpower is your identity. I am Aries. And they're trying to make you feel like you don't know who you are. But the karmic consequences of doing this are unfolding in real time because now this person has become unidentifiable. We got a kind of similar message in the Pisces reading, where I mentioned that the things people say about you are really just projections of who they really are, right? And this is karma. You know, karma doesn't always unfold the way that we think it's going to. It's much more complex. You know, in a lot of cases, I've seen karmic consequences unfold in people's lives in the form of psychological disorders, right? It's like when you try to project this really ugly energy into people's lives to get them to see themselves in a certain way, you're basically trying to do things to mess with their psychology, to mess with their wiring, right? Through gaslighting campaigns or narcissistic projection. This is a very despicable, very wicked thing to put somebody through. And the way that that's going to come back on that person is something going on with their psychology. It's almost like they lose their spark, or if people saw them as being bright at one point in time, now they're just very dull, right? They're not as sharp as they once were. And this creates a cascade of events to unfold in their life that puts them on a timeline where they now vibrate at the energy that they were actually trying to transmit into your life, okay? So this is just a very basic example of what I'm picking up here. I'm sure that by that example, you could see how this can be something that is very complex. So having said that, karma isn't always exact, meaning if somebody steals your partner, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have their partner stolen, okay, in their next relationship. It could in some cases, but this is far more complex. It doesn't always mean that exactly what they did to you is exactly what's going to happen to them, okay? And then right on the bottom of the deck, 5 of Cups, 8 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Aries, that's your energy right there. Ace of Pentacles, okay. So 5 of Cups followed by the 8 of Wands, I feel that that is representing the energy that these opposing forces are sending into your life. It's like they want you to be in a perpetual state of sadness or grief or an energy of feeling like you're unlovable. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Justice, Libra energy at the heart. Let's get some surrounding energy. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Okay. Okay, we'll take both these. 3 of Pentacles at the throat. 5 of Cups. Okay, so we just saw the 5 of Cups from this deck, and now we're seeing it from this deck. I just switched decks right here, okay? So this is so interesting because this is following the message perfectly from that 5 of Cups that I just read on. Now, the Justice card here is a rebalancing taking place in your life, followed by this 3 of Pentacles here, which could really speak about some sort of new opportunity, some sort of collaboration. There's just some sort of level up here. And then the 5 of Cups, this 5 of Cups is different than this one in terms of the illustration, right? There's 2 people here. And it's almost like, well, as soon as I looked at it, I thought that they brought some bad news to this person or returned something to them. But I feel that this is just representing the overall losses that this person is now being hit with ever since sending this energy into your life. So what you need to understand is that when we have Justice right here, central to the entire reading with the scales, it's telling us that you're on the up and up. The scales are tipping in your favor. And when this happens, when you are starting to align yourself with certain successes and wins, then what was once up must come down, okay? And that's this opposing energy. So there's 2 very clear energies on this table, yours and theirs. You are rising up and they are having some sort of fall from grace, okay? And I'm hearing that the whole reason it's happening like this is because you needed to see why things didn't happen for you sooner. You needed to see why things turned out the way they did. You need to understand that the natural laws of the universe are now swinging in your favor because you've stayed the course. You've stayed the path. You haven't tried to confront these energies and attack them. You have just stayed very connected to spirit, and you have moved according to your divine mission. And I just heard this mission with them is over. And this 5 of Cups also gives me this energy of, right? It's like they return something like, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and return this to you. And it's like, here they are. They're like, oh, you mean you saw that energy manipulation that I threw at them? It's like these are, representatives of the divine. They're like, oh yeah, we saw everything. You go ahead and take that now. And Aries, right before the reading, I was having this really funny dialogue going on in my mind in regards to an individual who tried to send demonic spirits to another person's house, right? But when those demonic spirits showed up at that person's house, they weren't able to enter. So they knocked and nobody answered. So they ended up leaving and going back to the home of the person who sent the spirits to begin with. They walked in that person's home and they sat down and they said, yeah, I couldn't get in at the other place, so I'm going to have to stay here tonight. And then there was a scan of this person's kitchen and they were all sitting around, all kind of moping because they were all rejected when they showed up at the people's houses who they were meant to torment. So now they're sitting in this person's kitchen, and see, the kitchen here is significant because it speaks about a kitchen witch, right? Somebody who thinks that they're real smart, real crafty, but they don't know what they're messing with. So now they have to entertain all of these low vibrational energies and spirits, which are essentially tormenting them. See, these spirits need to find a host. And when they're called on and they can't find a host, they're going to go back to the person who called on them to say, okay, now what, right? It's like somebody hiring somebody, to go and hurt somebody, let's just say. And that person that was hired shows up at that individual's address and no one's there. So they go back to the person who hired them. And the person who hired them is like, what are you doing here? You can't be seen here. It's that sort of same energy, okay? That's what I'm getting here. In a nutshell, everything that these people called on is now going back to them and they cannot handle it. And in a lot of cases here with this Page of Swords, it could simply just be gossip, slander, right? Which is a form of witchcraft. Witchcraft can be cast on an individual by the tongue because lies and gossip can often be laced with untruths, right? Things that try to distort a person's reputation or the truth around who they really are. And so it could be that people are starting to see this person in a much different light now. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Page of Cups, water energy at the crown. Okay, so you've got some sort of new beginning here, Aries, and I feel that based on this Page of Cups, I just heard it has something to do with your emotional well-being. There's something in regards to this situation that was keeping you in some sort of emotional vortex. Now, I feel that this just speaks about a cyclical pattern of not being able to get to a space of healing. But the cycle that you're now entering into post this ascension is going to lead you to a more emotionally stabilized space. And I feel that this was only made possible by understanding certain energies that you were once dealing with in a way that you may have not been able to accept until now. Simply put, you're finally seeing people for who they really are, and you're ready to accept it. This leads to the Magician, okay? So the Magician has all four elements, right? Fire, earth, air, water. So this means that you have mastered all these sectors of your life. And you are now able to turn some sort of vision into your reality. What do we have at the foundation, please, for Aries? Three of Cups, Cancer energy at the foundation. So there's that gossip again, okay? It's become clear as day to you that your forward momentum was completely stifled by some sort of energies that you were once entertaining, Aries. And I feel that Spirit is what illuminated this to you. Because now you have something to compare it to, right? You're on this new path. You're leveling up. Things are getting better. I just heard you have a reason to wake up every day and feel excited. And it doesn't have to be because there's some grand event taking place in your life. It's simply because you are grateful to be breathing. And that's truly a wonderful place to be, okay? Because I feel the energy that you've had coming at you wanted you in the absolute opposite, which is really just a reflection of them. These are people who don't love life. And yes, life can become very difficult at times, especially in this world we live in. But really, when you think back to the very beginning of time, life has always been difficult. Life has always been littered with war and strife and just all sorts of things. If anything, we're probably living in a time now that is easier than a lot of the times that came before us. But you find a way to add something positive to the equation regardless. It's like you are adding your unique, colorful brush stroke to the tapestry that is life. You understand how important that is. You understand that your experience and the wisdom you extract can make a difference. And that difference doesn't need to be noticed, doesn't need to be recognized in the immediate. We all have shoulders, and we are all here to shoulder what comes next. And this is really just another way of speaking about understanding how evolution truly works. We are all cogs. We are part of the mechanics of evolution. And that in and of itself is beautiful. It's overwhelming. It can be scary, but it's beautiful. And the fact we even have a conscious awareness of that is a miracle. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? King of Swords, air energy at the sacral, right underneath that Six of Swords. A lot of air energy here. Aries, I'm hearing something here about certain energies that have come in and out of your life that had the same spirit but different faces, right? I've spoken about this before. And I feel that this can really highlight certain spirits and or entities that have been assigned to us to essentially torment us in each life cycle. You know, these are the types of situations where you date somebody, you break up with them, and you date another person and come to realize they were exactly like the person before them, and then maybe even the person before them. Now, there's quite a extreme depth that I can go to when it comes to these sorts of situations, but I'll try and keep it as surface level as possible just so we can get through the reading. But the most useful thing to extract from these situations is a lesson for yourself, right? When you make it less about them and what the energies are and more about you, more like you're the common denominator, but not to say you've done something wrong here. This isn't what this is about at all. It's more about recognizing certain shadow aspects of yourself that says it's okay to entertain certain kinds of energies, right? Now, this is probably the most useful real world example of what I'm picking up here, right? But it's like you just start to awaken to these new ideas, these new things that you can implement into your healing path, so you're able to discern these energies before they do the damage that they do. It's like as soon as you start to see these energies and pinpoint them in your life and how they show up in the kinds of people you attract or maybe you're attracted to, the universe will show you very clearly, hey, you can still entertain these energies if you want, but this right here will never be possible. So you need to decide. Do you want to do the shadow work and head down this path, or do you want to keep entertaining these energies and stay stuck inside this cyclical cycle of madness? Now, that's just a real simple example of what it is here I'm picking up, Aries, so you guys can apply that as it fits in your own life. But just have a think about that, because I feel that that's something that we all face in some capacity on our path. We're not born perfect. We're not born into a world that is free of pain and suffering. We're literally born into a world that is on the brink of chaos, and it's always been like that. And we all have the option to choose whether we want to accept that for what it really is and find our own power and sovereignty amidst this chaos, or whether we want to waste our lives and remain stuck inside the vortex. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Two of Pentacles, Capricorn energy in its shadow at the solar plexus. So this Two of Pentacles is an energy of disorder. It's highlighting something that wants to scatter your energy, okay? Whether it's the gossip, the slander, these people and just how they move. And I just heard leaving the chaos behind for the truth. You know, Aries, I heard something recently, and it was about how there's alternate realities that we can all move between in this very moment. And one of the realities is a reality that we all know, right? We live in this very chaotic world right now. And that particular reality sees all of us living in a dimension where the Earth is stuck inside some sort of black hole or some sort of vortex that is essentially unseen. Then there's a reality that we've all been made privy of, which is the reality where we self-empower and we all do our part to help pull the Earth out of that vortex, vibrationally speaking. Now, this is almost beyond human understanding, but what I really gather from that is that each one of us, like I always say, plays an incremental role, right? Whether we really see this or not, I believe it's very true that the way we live our own life, the vibration that we emit on this planet adds up to the next person's vibration, which adds up to the next person's vibration, and so on. And it's our collective vibrations equates to the total vibration of the reality that we live in. It's like all of us self-empowering creates a collective shockwave, which allows us to shift our timeline and reality. And some could argue that right now, this is this point that we're in. You know, to be able to shift our timeline and our reality, there's actually going to be wars. There's going to be a war for light and dark that is taking place, which we see all around us right now. So that crossover point is not peaceful. It's painful. And I feel that's exactly what each one of us is dealing with in some capacity in our own lives. You don't even have to be an Aries. And it's also what we are dealing with collectively speaking. Now, take that and apply your own level of understanding to that as well, and see what you come up with. And if you feel like, maybe drop something down in the comments and add to what it is I'm trying to say here, but probably not doing any justice, okay? Which is interesting because we have justice right there with the scales, right? So it's like that could be representing the micro to macro, the scales tipping in your favor in your own life, but also collectively speaking. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the moon, right? So things that are unseen. Yeah, I just heard we can't really see the true nature of our reality right now. And it has nothing, yeah, I just heard it has nothing to do with what we can see with the naked eye. It has to do with what our minds can actually conceive and or input. It's like the level of understanding that we would need to have to be able to input this knowledge. Okay, now I'm seeing a bunch of motherboards exploding in my mind's eye. So it's almost like it overloads us. We can't handle it. It's almost like it's shocking, right? It's too overwhelming. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. Eight of Swords, Gemini energy. Aries, I'm going to share something with you. I've shared this before. It's probably been a couple years. I just thought about it now and thought I would mention it. But about 6 or 7 years ago, when I was going through a really massive awakening in my life, I was doing a lot of purging, a lot of meditating, studying the tarot, studying the chakra systems, and trying to input as much knowledge into my mind as possible so I could try and dissect certain patterns in my own life. And I was doing marathon meditation sessions at this point in my life, 60, 90-minute meditation sessions. And this one night in particular, I heard a voice say, "Open your eyes." And I opened my eyes from a deep sleep, and right above me was this glowing blue light that came into formation, and it was Archangel Michael. And he started hitting me with this broom, like he was sweeping something off of me, like he was trying to rid me of something. And it was so clear to me, and even now, it's like I remember every detail of it. And from that point forward, my life was never the same. It was like all this time, energy, and focus I was putting on trying to communicate with the other side to heal myself of generational conditioning actually worked. Now, I say this to say that when this happened, I was in shock. I couldn't move. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe what I was feeling. And for the days that followed that, I was not okay. You know what it was? It shattered everything that I once thought. And it started to create this new level of understanding and awareness that I now navigate my life with. And I feel that this is really representing what I was picking up in regards to us not being able to input, right? What is actually taking place. It would be such a shock to our systems that it would actually break an awareness, a level of understanding that we have for our own specific ways of interfacing with reality right now. That's exactly what I'm getting here with this energy on the table, Aries. This is a big reading, okay? This is most definitely a reading for everybody. This Eight of Swords here is also reinforcing this because the Eight of Swords is an energy that's very limited in understanding. It's essentially trapped inside a mental prison cell. It's like we're living inside a very limited understanding of who we really are and what really surrounds us. But this is preparing to change, not only in your individual life and the situations, the circumstances you are dealing with, but on a collective level. Four of Swords. Look. Four of Swords is an energy of contemplation, right? This is all of us thinking about this right now, thinking about what I just channeled through and said. It's like, oh my God. Right? And see how it's like you have wings. So it's basically just saying that you're starting to have a different understanding of who you are and what you actually came here to do. And it says right there, mission. And see, this demonic demon, right? Disregarding rules. It's like an energy that has been assigned to us to keep us limited. That's this energy here. This can show up in our families, the people we date. And those are the energies that a lot of you are breaking free of now because you are starting to get a different level of understanding. Okay? It doesn't have to be this extreme yet. There's levels to it, right? We can't input all that at once. We can only take small pieces of that at a time, okay? And that's another way of speaking about when you're on an awakening journey, okay? You don't get everything at once. The awakening journey is a lifelong process. There's no end to it because our awakening is our own evolution. And as we know, evolution is perpetual. There's no end to it. Expansion, right? Expansion, evolution, awakening. Those are the different levels from macro to micro. The universe expands, our reality evolves, and we awaken within it. If you were all of a sudden given insight into what's at the end of all that, you would spontaneously combust. It would just not even be, you wouldn't be able to compute it. Hence the exploding motherboards, right? Okay. All right, what do we have for Aries at the throat, please, Spirit? Okay. Okay, there's Archangel Michael. That just flipped over right there. Okay, Chariot. And then we've got the Three of Pentacles underneath the Three of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. It says right here, God-hearing laminations, mental force. Okay, so, wow, really follows what we're saying here beautifully. Now, this Three of Pentacles here is further reinforcing the Three of Pentacles above it because it's doubling down on this energy of you adapting to some sort of new way of doing things, some sort of new ideas, a new way of interfacing with your life and reality. The Three of Pentacles is also an energy of learning new skills and studying, right? So it goes back to what I said I was going through during that sort of awakening, during my interaction with Archangel Michael beating me with the broom, right? And the broom was a process of purification. It was a kind of protection that was being placed upon me in that moment. And I believe it was the result of my hard work and dedication. What do we have at the third eye for Aries? Knight of Swords, air energy at the third eye. Says right here, the all-pervading God, intellectual richness. Now, the Knight of Swords here is representing some sort of lifestyle changes that I feel a lot of you are being guided to implement right now. And I just heard soldier, right? The Knight of Swords can be an energy that represents a soldier. And following everything we're seeing here, it could be that a lot of you are going through your own purification and protection process right now. Okay, I don't know if that picked up on the mic or not, but right as I said that, there was a really loud crow in the distance, okay? And it was almost like the crow said yes. And it's interesting that this Knight of Swords is right underneath that Five of Cups, because that Five of Cups was showing us that this individual or individuals is in this energy of disappointment. It's as if those representatives of the divine there came to that person in some capacity and let them know that you are about to be leveled up, that you are actually going to be moving forward because you have been chosen for a specific path because of your dedication and your cooperation to the actual laws of the universe. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? How's that for a confirmation? Five of Cups again. Okay, so now we have it twice, right after I just spoke on it, right there. So this Five of Cups reads differently than this one. Look what it says. God, King and Ruler, prosperity, destruction of the enemy, and the deliverance from bondage. So this just confirms exactly what I just said, right? You have been delivered from this bondage that these individuals have been trying to keep you in because you are aware of it now. You can discern it now. You see it for what it really is. You've accepted the truths that Spirit has shown you, and you've accepted your mission, and you are going to be marching forward, and there's nothing that they can do about it any longer. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, Aries, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And lastly, I would like to know how this video resonated with you, so leave me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.